Hey guys, welcome to goldfries. For the past week, this AMD B450 chipset lack of support for 4th generation Ryzen issue is totally blown out of proportion. And I think that among all that I've seen, Gamers Nexus did a splendid job of covering this matter. Kudos to Steve and the team. I wish I get to meet you guys in Computex 2020, but unfortunately, it's a no-go for now. Now, since everyone has covered this topic, not much else for me to say other than what's on my mind. So let's move on to first point of what I have regarding what I think of this matter. First things first is that I think we are all talking too much too soon. You see, the 4th generation Ryzen processor, the processor is not even launched in the market yet, and people are raging all over the place. And I've seen tech media's articles, videos, posts, and comments on Facebook groups. Yes, regardless whether it's a tech media, whether it's people or whatever, I've seen a lot for the past week, really. And everyone's like claiming they're not happy with it. And some are claiming that AMD is the next Intel. But really, I think we are jumping the gun. Truth be told, I think AMD is far from being the next Intel. More on this later. My take is that rather than making a fuss out of this matter right now, we should just wait out. Wait for the 4th generation Ryzen to come into the market before we conclude anything. But as of now, we take the support as declared by AMD as it is. Clear? Now, second point, we talk about AMD being the next Intel. Don't mind me, I have to refer to what I wrote because there's so many things to talk about. Now, you see, my take is that they are actually far from it. You see, Intel is predictable. They have this tick-tock cycle. So let's say you have a Z490 board, you know that it's going to support the 10th generation processor, which now, and then an 11th generation processor, which is next. But that Z490 will not support the previous generation, which is like the 9th, 8th, and whatever. Right? But this is as what people say, which I agree, Intel is predictable. Tick-tock, sound argument. AMD is very unlike Intel, and if you study their chipset, it will always, well, other than B550, we'll go into that later. As of now, their chipsets do support the previous generation. That makes them already different from Intel. Aside from B350, of which they are the first board, there's no other previous generation Ryzen to support, right? But the B350 itself supports others like Bristol Ridge APUs. And besides the Bristol Ridge, it supports the 1st and 2nd generation with a conditional 3rd generation. And let me quote you something from MSI's blog. It says, both B350 and B450 chipset will support all AMD CPUs released until 2020. Keyword being until, but I'll talk about that in the next section because it's another long-winded thing from me. Yes, so let me see, I lost it. Yeah, so basically that's what MSI said in their blog, and they actually did support it as well. If you check out their B350 Tomahawk, it supports even now till the Ryzen 3 3100 and 3300X, and they are not the only one doing it, ASRock, they have this B350 Gaming K4, of which I have it around here, I think. I've placed it someplace else. It's over there. Doesn't matter. So the B350 Gaming K4 from ASRock does support the new generation Ryzens as well, the Ryzen 3 3100 and 3300X. Of course, if you look at the BIOS support, you realize that there's conditions saying that if you are using this or that processor, it's best you update the BIOS. So as what people like Steve over at Gamers Nexus covered about the BIOS issue, about it cannot support everything, limited size, yes, it's totally legit. So basically, I'm going to say just this. If you guys bought a low mid-end range of motherboard with a lower mid range, as in that's B450, which is a chipset of 2018, to use on a 2019 processor, which is the 3rd generation Ryzen, and hoping for it to support a 2020's upcoming processor. Well, that's actually quite a stretch. And the third thing I'm going to talk about is that we are assuming a lot. That's why I say in the first point, we shouldn't be talking so much, because we are actually not technicians. We shouldn't assume so much. Say what you want, guys, but we actually have no clue of how the fourth generation Ryzen, which is Zen 3 architecture, will perform, because we don't have any idea how it will perform. Who are we to say whether AMD can or cannot do? They will know the best of what they can do. You see, if another thing of, I can see why it's possible that AMD is not allowing the support. You see, if a B450 chipset is not going to work well with the Zen 3 architecture, which is 4th generation Ryzen, AMD will get the flag from both consumers and brand partners, claiming that it works. Then to have them not working or not working optimally, what would you think? You would think that, hey, AMD, you promised us that it will work, but it does not work as well. So it hurts AMD's image. Or if it doesn't work at all or whatever, for some reason, guess who will be the one making a fuss? The person who bought, the consumers. Who will they make a fuss to when it does not work with, let's say, their brand boards? Say they're saying, oh, my MSI board, my Asus board not working. They will go to the brand partners first. And then it will escalate up to AMD. So it will hurt the brand. People will think the board sucks. That will hurt the brand partners. And this, in the end, goes back to AMD. Why do you even allow Zen 3 to work on a B450 when you know it's not going to be optimal or going to have problems? So I believe, since we know, I understand. I can't ascertain this as much as you cannot ascertain that it will work. So this is my alternative take on the matter. You guys say it should support. I'm saying that maybe it's not supporting for a good reason. So we'll just have to see how it goes after the launch. And next, many are say that AMD is misleading. Is it really AMD misleading, or is it actually an interpretation of information at your convenience based on your expectations? An unrealistic one, maybe. It could be that, You see, let's start with the first chart. It says socket stability, meaning the socket will be supported from 2017 to 2020, which is exactly what AMD did. They did nothing wrong. They did not mention anything about chipset support, that B450 will last from 2017 to 2020. Although B450, is a 2018 chipset. I get it. Same, B350 then. It's a 2017 board. Even to support a 2019 processor, it's conditional. 2020, nope. So that's not the case. They never mentioned chipset support. You can refer to my other video on top. I'm going to link it here, because I was at Ryzen Tech Day, meaning Ryzen Tech Day is the day where we first get to know about Ryzen. It's before Ryzen's launch. You can check out the presentation. If you have not seen this presentation, please click it. Understand that they are talking about socket. They have not talked about chipset. On to the next chart. It's the same thing. It's about the socket. And the keywords here are plan and until. You can plan to go out for dinner, but your plan can be screwed up by the weather, right? This applies to all of us, so it applies to AMD as well. In fact, for them, it actually is a lot more difficult, because you have plans from 2017 to 2020. That's a long time, right? And it's not as simple as what we think. We are talking about technology. We are talking about there are so many challenges. It's just not just design. It's down to creating the product and having it out to the market. We are talking about there's so many variables. Things can change. That's why in most of their charts, they have a fine print there, subjected to change. And See, the next keyword is until. Same, I'm going to use plan and until in this analogy. I plan to play game this evening and I plan to play it until 10 o'clock. Does that mean that I will stop at 10 or before 10 or a little bit after 10, say 10 minutes and 59 seconds? It is my plan. But supposedly, if the power got cut off, I'll be stopping before 10, right? But if all goes well, I reach 10, whether I stop at 10 or 10 with 59 seconds, it's still 10, right? But it's until 10. Until that time is when I initiate my stop process. Same with AMD here, but theirs is going by year, 2020. So what does that mean? They can actually choose to stop on 1st January 2020 or 31st December 2020, of which they did not specify. We cannot assume. Again, it's a matter of assumption. What most people think is 2020 means 31st December 2020. Are you sure? Because the word until, at least from my interpretation, once it hits 2020, it is 2020 and it is subjected to any form of, as long as they hit 2020, they can actually do it, change whatever their plans and support at that time is called until. All in all, my summary for the whole matter is that AMD is far from being the next Intel, as each of the major chipset has supported at least 3 generations, whether being it fully or conditional, which of course the B550 currently being the exception, which is understandable because it could actually be the last of the series on the AM4 platform before we move on to some other socket, maybe something that supports DDR5. Well, that's all I have to say. Leave your comments down below and I love to hear your thoughts and opinion on this matter. No worry, I hope you guys don't take any offense, as I won't take any offense of what you said unless you are being nasty. That's all for now. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.